What's up, everybody? So today I decided to make a tutorial on the synth from Ready to Go Hardwell remix. It's a synth you hear in a couple songs. It's more of a big room clubby synth. Usually I do more electro or dubstep, but I'm going to do a club tutorial today. So let's get started. I'm going to open up a brand new rack, and we're going to start by creating a combinator. And inside this combinator, we're going to start with a Thor polysonic synthesizer. Now make sure that you have the init patch right here, and to do that you just right click on it and you click initialize patch, and that'll bring up the init patch on the Thor. Now click show programmer to open up the entire synth, and let's get started. First thing we're going to do is bring the octave down, because this is a bass synth. We're also going to bring the frequency down quite a bit. I'd say to about 130 hertz, maybe 193. We're going to bring the envelope amount up to about 106. And that's all we're going to do there. We're going to also add some chorus. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the dry wetness down a little bit. And we're going to bring the rate down and the amount down a little bit. We just want a little bit of chorus going on. Now let's go down to the filter envelope down here. Bring the attack up just a bit to about, let's say, 5.3 milliseconds. And the decay down to about, let's do 552. And the sustain, we are going to bring up a little bit to -19. And the release, let's have it up to, let's have it all the way up. Alright, for the attack on the amp envelope, we're going to bring it up just a bit to 9 milliseconds. And we are going to bring the decay down quite a bit to about 349. And the sustain, we're going to bring up to -6.8 dB. And the release, let's bring to 256 milliseconds. Alright. Now over here, let's add a high pass filter. This way you can have more fun with the synth if you want to high pass it, or even just having a little bit of high pass on the synth gives it a little bit of more of the sound from the original. So let's open up a state variable. Let's bring the frequency way down and the resonance up a bit to about 36. The frequency I brought to 75.2 hertz and the resonance I had at 36. And we turn it to a high pass right here by clicking HP12. And you want to move this all the way over to high pass. I don't know if you actually need to do that. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to go down here to the source, and we're going to click LFO, and we're going to route the LFO to control the frequency. And we're going to bring the amount up to about 25 just lightly, and we're going to turn this on to tempo sync up here on our LFO. Bring the rate up to, let's do 1/8, and let's make the waveform the one that looks like, let me make sure that's the right one. Yeah, that's the one we want, the one that looks kind of like a swoop right here. And that, my friends, is the synth. So if I play it now, it sounds like this. Not quite as good yet, but you can kind of hear where it comes from that. So the next thing we are going to add is a vocoder. So it's the BV512 digital vocoder. We're going to switch it to equalizer mode, and we're going to bring it down. Let's make it an 8-band. So we're going to boost this bass up quite a bit and bring the second bass down. Bring this up a little bit. You guys can feel this one out. I'm literally just doing this by eye. I don't know if this is how you perfectly want it, but you might want to just make it your EQ look a little bit like how I have it set here. Yeah, that should be good. And the shift, we're going to bring over to about, let's do 14. And that's all you're going to do to the vocoder. So let's hear it now. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but it got a little bit thicker, but not much. Next thing we're going to do is create reverb to add a little bit of room into the synth. So let's do the RV7000 advanced reverb. Let's bring that wetness way down to about, let's do 16. Let's dampen this by bringing this up to about 79 right here. You're not going to touch the high EQ, and we're going to bring the decay down to about 23. Now let's open this up by clicking on the arrow down there, and let's switch it to the room, not the hall setting. So now we're in the room. Let's bring the size down about 9.4, and let's actually make it diffuse a little less, so it actually is, the reverb is spread apart. It's not quite as smooth. It gives it a cool sound to it. And let's make sure that mod is taken away. All right, let's take a listen. All right, you still might not hear much from that, but there is a little bit of reverb adding some room. So now let's make this bad boy quite a bit louder. So we're just going to right click on this whole combinator we have and go to effects and do create effect. And you're gonna want to go into the dynamics menu and click on bass. If you don't know how to do this, start by clicking on Reason Factory Sound Bank, then go to all effect patches, and then click on dynamics, click on bass, and we're gonna do nastier bass. Now this presets can be a little too loud for what we need, so let's bring the first gain down to 3.4. Let's bring the second gain down to 1.7. Let's bring the third gain down to 4.0. Let's bring the high gain down to 1.7. And we'll leave everything else the same. Let's bring the input gain a little bit down, maybe 3.4 dB. And let's leave the maximizer. And now you have, and that is the synth right there. The only thing I would recommend doing is adding a compressor to this. So once again, I will right click on the combinator and click effects and do an M-class compressor. And I would set the threshold down to about 30, maybe the ratio to almost at infinite, but a little below. The attack almost all the way to the left, the release almost all the way to the right, and pump up that input gain. And now if you route on the backside by clicking tab, you can flip around like that. You're going to want to sidechain this to a kick, and you'll get a really nice pump from it. I would recommend doing a little bit of shuffle by using the regroove mixer down there. And there you have it. This is a nice big room bass that you can play with. Add distortion, add more reverbs. You can make a lot of good music with this synth. It's great for the club. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.